Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons, and we're going to talk about the astonishing ramifications of what Ginny D just established about Dungeons & Dragons and mental illness, right? And the power of Dungeon Masters, in my humble opinion. All right, so Ginny D did this excellent video. I highly encourage you to go check it out. The video is her talking about D&D in a castle and a panic attack she had there. And today we're going to talk directly about that panic attack, right? And what cured the panic attack? That's the highly interesting part of this. Let's get all the way there. Okay, so Ginny D comes in and she says, hey, I was invited to D&D in a castle. She does some math. And she's like, every single seat at the table for 3 days of D&D is $4,000 to $8,000 a piece, right? So every single person at my table paid $4,000 to $8,000 to be there, right? That's astonishing, right? Like, that's like, whoa, that's a lot of money, right? Like, and actually, it's an interest. You know what? I'm going to keep this video tight as possible because I maybe in the future I'm considering doing in the future a video that is 3 days of D&D worth $4,000 to $8,000. That's very interesting. All right, that's an interesting question. But let's stay focused here. Okay, so she says, I was invited to do podium level dungeon mastering, right? So what do I mean by podium level? This is silver medal dungeon mastering. Gold is Matthew Mercer's table. D&D in a castle is silver medal Dungeons & Dragons. It's the second most important epic Dungeons & Dragons that's being done on planet Earth. And bronze medal is my table. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, so basically, she starts in. She's like, hey, so I was invited to run this, this campaign, this Dungeons & Dragons story arc in this castle. Every single person there is spending $4,000 to $8,000 per person, right? And now I need to dungeon master, right? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But then she says, but I have suffered from mental illness my entire life. I was like, whoa, that's an interesting thing to mention. I wonder why, right? Like, it becomes clear why she says that in a minute. So then she says she goes to D&D in a castle, and she realizes she has planned poorly, and that she's actually not a strong dungeon master. Like, she doesn't even know what silvery barbs is, right? Like, and she wasn't prepared for it after the player told her weeks and months in advance what it was. Like, asked if they're going to use it. She didn't even look it up, right? So she says, so I realize I'm not a good dungeon master. I'm paraphrasing here, but you watch the video. Tell me if you think I'm not capturing what she said correctly, but I think this is the summarization. She realized she's not a good dungeon master, and prepared poorly, and then arrived and had a panic attack because she's like, I'm not a good dungeon master. These I did not prepare well. I'm clearly not reading the canon hardbacks, right? Like I'm not even doing the basic reading, right? Like it's pretty astounding, right? And so she had a panic attack. She had a full-on panic attack, right? But not let me explain what kind. So she defines this, right? She says, hey, listen up. This is the kind of panic I had. She goes, I know you've had your cute little panic attacks. This was a for realsies panic attack, right? Like genuine suffering, like physical angst and pain, and just hitting the mental health wall, just slamming directly into the mental health wall with a dramatic physical manifestation of mental illness, right? like so she hits it, right? So I'm like, oh no, hey, first of all, this is a great story. I'm here, man. I'm just like, I'm eating the popcorn. I got Bill Hader meme. I'm eating the popcorn. I'm like, oh boy, all right, let's what happens next, right? And then I was like, well, Scott, you know what's gonna happen next, blah blah blah. I'm in Europe, free healthcare, so a mental health specialist came out and cured me. Right? I'm like, okay, get on with it. Say it, blah, blah, blah. And then you can whine about American healthcare, right? No, that is not what happened. That is not what happened. The ramifications of what you're about to hear are staggering. And in my humble opinion, 100% validate everything I've been saying on this channel for 5 years, maybe 8 years now. Let's get into it. All right. What does she say? She's like, hey, everybody, I need you to understand this. I've been suffering from mental illness. Just follow this through. Listen to these breadcrumbs. I've been suffering from mental illness my entire life. So I'm not on the shallow end of the pool here, right? I'm not faking it, right? Like, this is for realsies, deep core mental illness that has not been cured, right? Okay, all right. Then she's like, then I had a panic attack, and not, I had a for realsies hit the mental health wall, full on panic attack, like hard, right? So what's the next line? And then it was cured by a dungeon master. What? Wait, what? What'd you say? Right? She didn't go get a mental health expert. She went to the dungeon masters who were in the castle, and they cured her. Watch the video. It's astounding. I'm like, whoa, Nelly. What? You're saying that dungeon masters can cure physical manifestations of mental illness? I agree. I seconded 100%, right? Like, yes. If you're suffering from mental health illness and you have the level of literal, dramatic, physical manifestations of mental illness, what you really need is a dungeon master. What? Like, but that is an astounding place to land. I think if you, in my humble opinion, if you watch her video, that is what is being said. If you deeply suffer from dramatic physical manifestations of mental illness, you need a dungeon master. They will cure you. I 100% agree, right? Now, why? Why on earth could a dungeon master cure dramatic physical manifestations of mental illness? Well, because they understand emotion, intellect, spirit at a multi-realm level, right? Every dungeon master worth their salt, and every single dungeon master it is the D&D it is the D&D canon filter, right? Here's why the dungeon masters who came to help her were able to help her. One, they're real dungeon masters. They do not allow disgusting, useless game masters. They're like, you could do anything you want, but you do not set on the table any jank OSR indie crap. This is for realsies, Dungeons and Dragons. You cannot run anything else, which means right there, every single dungeon master is coming from Gary's legacy, Gary Gygax, right? He is going to aid from the grave because his legacy, his momentum, everything achieved in life, there's no game masters here, no useless GMs, only dungeon masters who have done what Gary said to do, which is to master the dungeon and beyond. That was literally his words. It was printed on every Dragon magazine. And dungeon masters they have mastered beyond, right? When a person is in front of them and they are physically suffering from dramatic physical manifestations of mental illness, they can be cured by a dungeon master who is bound in true name Gary Gygaxian legacy, right? Because they understand emotion, intellect, and spirituality, because they've dedicated their lives to collecting entire libraries, to understanding 1,000 identities, right? They know about anxiety, they know about envy, they know about ambition, they know about every aspect of the human spirit, and they know about aspects beyond the human spirit, right? They are the ultimate, right, sympathizer, empathizer, and all of it is bound in alignment, evil, good, neutral, right? They know how to settle and cure dramatic physical manifestations of mental illness, right? You're just like, Scott, that's incredible what you're saying. I'm as shocked as you are. I think if you watch Ginny D's video, there's no way around this, right? She is saying, I have suffered from mental illness my entire life. It has not been cured. I had dramatic physical manifestations of mental illness happen in real time. I went to a dungeon master. I was cured. If you watch her video, it is clear as day. Clear as day. Astonishing, right? And I'm really glad we're getting the receipts. Like this is it, right? Like I don't have the receipts for you, but Ginny D does, right? That is astounding in my humble opinion. Every single word, not less than a one, is my humble opinion that you just heard. Every single word. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion on this entire event. When you get in the comments and send your traffic, please consider like and subscribing, and have a fetch millennium.